Today we're going to be getting into lessons from the sauna. Here's why stillness builds stronger men than constant non-stop hustle ever will. You think success comes from movement, from grinding harder, stacking hours, chasing that next win. But the truth is, most high performers aren't burnt out because they work too hard. They're burnt out because they've forgotten how to just sit still and be with their own thoughts on a constant chase. The men I work with, they're on a constant chase. Doesn't matter what it is, spinning plates. And the sauna taught me that if you can sit through the heat, the silence and the discomfort without reaching for escape, without being on your phone, without having to hit LinkedIn or Facebook for notifications, you can sit through anything that life throws at you. This is lessons from the sauna, the discipline that will turn you into an unfuckwithable man. And here's the first lesson. The heat exposes what's real. Let me say that again. The heat exposes what's real. Step into the sauna and there's nowhere to hide. No phone, no noise, no distraction. It's just you and your breathing and the rising temperature, and that strips away every layer of comfort that you've built around yourself over time. And that's why most men can't handle it. They say that they're high performers, but the truth is they're just comfort addicts wearing discipline as a costume. Let me say that again. They're just comfort addicts wearing discipline as a costume. They'll do the hard work when it looks sexy, the grind, the overtime, the sales calls, the gym, the deal, but take away the stimulation and the external validation and they crumble. I've seen it over and over again. But the sauna shows you your truth. Because when that heat hits your skin and the air feels heavy enough to choke you and you got to breathe into it, your body starts negotiating, your mind starts lying to you. Just get out, you've done enough today, you've been sweating, you're dehydrated, you can come back tomorrow. Does any of that sound familiar? Because that's the same voice that talks you out of finishing your set at the gym, out of doing 10 more sales calls when you've got goals to hit, out of posting your content for your business, out of doing the outreach when you don't feel like it, your income generating activities. Because the sauna doesn't just build your body, it builds your integrity. It's the room that mirrors your weakness back to you in real time. The second lesson that we can learn from the sauna, while I'm waiting for the sauna to heat up in the background, because I'm waiting for my sauna to heat up. So I thought, why not spend that 10 minutes to drop some absolute gems on the YouTube? So in the heat, movement makes it worse. Every twitch, every restless fidget burns more oxygen and makes that discomfort unbearable. So the only way to win is to be still. That's what most men do not get about alignment, is that you can't grind your way to peace. You can't hustle your way out of chaos and anxiety and overwhelm. You have to learn to sit in the fire and breathe and be at one with your thoughts and your emotions and the feelings, because stillness isn't weakness, it's control. When you can stay calm under pressure, not react to panic, not reach for the escape, you start to radiate real power, not just this fake, hyped up version of power that a lot of us cling to. That's what separates average men or even high performing men from the unfuckwithable men. Because in the boardroom, in the relationships, in the ring, in the gym, the man who stays still for the longest will win. Let me say that again. The man who can stay still for the longest will win. The third lesson we can learn from the sauna is purge yourself to progress. Sit long enough in that heat and your body starts to release everything toxic out of yourself. The sweat pours, the impurities start to leave you. You start to become healthier and you come out cleaner than when you went in. All the shit's come out of you, so you can drink some clean water and feel good. That's what alignment does to you too. It burns out everything fake, forced or fear-based. So you think your stress is work, but it's not. It comes from the internal clutter that you refuse to purge. All the lies that you tell yourself about who you are, about what you want, all the expectations you carry that were never yours in the first place. Because a lot of us have built lives around what we think society and the people around us thinks we should do. The sauna teaches you the truth about transformation. You can't become your next level while still holding on to your last one. You have to let that motherfucker burn. Because when you sit through the heat, and you keep breathing, you train your nervous system to trust that pain doesn't mean death, it means growth. That's emotional alchemy. That's the same thing that my clients go through when they experience the alignment blueprint. We burn away from the chaos until only clarity remains. And do not get it twisted. These lessons that I'm talking about now are related to the sauna, but they apply to every single area of your life. Because the fourth lesson is controlled exposure can build real resilience. Let me say that again. Controlled exposure will build real resilience. Because most men wait for life to test them. They wait for the pressure, crisis, the heartbreak, or the loss, or the force to change. Then they try and find strength in the moment and fail. But the sauna is premeditated suffering, just like the gym. You walk willingly into the discomfort. You invite pain on your terms. And that's how you build resilience. Because when you choose and chase controlled suffering, when life throws you a curveball, which it will, that uncontrolled chaos, that heartbreak, it can't destroy you because you've been facing that shit head on. Because you can train your body and your mind to understand, I can handle this and I can handle anything. And that belief starts to compound and spread out into every other area of life. That's what I teach through the 3 M's: mindset, movement, and money. You align them under daily exposure, daily non-negotiables. Grow 1% every day. You don't avoid stress, you schedule it, you face it head on, and you turn it into your bitch. You don't pray for easier problems, you become the stronger man that can handle any of those problems. And that's how you can go from an average or even a high-performing man to becoming absolutely unfuckwithable in every area of life. And the 5th lesson is the exit will always test you. The final minutes of every sauna session are the hardest because you can see the door. You can almost feel the cool air waiting for you and the cool down. And that's when most men choose to quit, because they know they can get out, jump in the shower, go home and sit down and watch some Netflix or escape in any other way. So right before you reach your threshold, you've done that 90% of the work, but then rob yourselves of that breakthrough moment because they want more, they want relief more than they want mastery. How does that apply to anything in your life? You pull out last minute before you can start to really work towards mastery. That's how most high performers live. They're 90% there. Body's okay, money's probably decent, mindset half solid, but they never finish. They get comfortable, they coast, you plateau. You self-sabotage right before the piece. In the sauna, that's when the real test starts, because the mind says you've done enough, but the soul stays, yeah, you can stay in for a little bit longer. Turn it into a resilience. When you're making sales calls, think, let's see how many more I can do. And when you stay, you'll learn something profound. Strength doesn't come when you go through what you can endure. It comes from what you can choose to endure. Let me say that again, what you can choose to endure. The man who can stay 1 more minute longer when everything in him is screaming to leave, that's the man who wins. And this applies to your business, it applies to your relationships. When shit gets hard, do you quit or do you dig deep and see how far you can push yourself? The 6th lesson is the cold after the heat. Once you step out of that sauna and hit the cold plunge or the cold shower, that contrast hits you like a freight chain, like a smack to the face. Your heart rate spikes, your breath catches, your body shocks into life. But here's the paradox. That contrast is what wakes you the fuck up. And it's the same in life. Without stress, the peace has no meaning. Without chaos, the calm has no power. It's the yin-yang of life. I've got it tattooed on my hand here because you need both. That's what balance really means. Not comfort, but contrast. You can't live in the heat forever. That's a given. But you can't live in the cold forever either. You need balance. You need to experience both. Without one, the other one doesn't have the meaning. The power is learning to master the transition and become the best version of yourself in both, the good times and the bad. Because most men live stuck in one extreme, always grinding or always escaping. But the aligned man, he flows between both. He can be still and then strike. He can rest and then rise to the occasion. That's the difference between temporary success and lifelong power. You create them habits that bleed out into every area of your life. The 7th lesson, sweat is the currency of clarity. Let me say that again. Sweat is the currency of clarity. Because when I leave the sauna, I always feel lighter, not just physically, but mentally. The ideas start to come to me. The noise fades out. The direction clears. I can actually think straight. That's what happens when you detox your nervous system, because modern day life is so stressful on the nervous system. There's always something happen. And most high performers are not short on ideas. They're drowning in overthinking, too many ideas. You can't hear intuition over the anxiety. You can feel purpose when your brain's hijacked by dopamine and distraction. You can't feel your purpose, sorry. The sauna strips it all away. It forces you into breath, into presence, into pure being. And that's where the real clarity comes from silence. That's why alignment starts with stillness, because the majority of the men I coach aren't broken. In fact, all of the men I coach aren't broken. They're just overstimulated and overwhelmed and out of alignment. And when I teach them to slow down, breathe, journal, sweat, train, listen, reprogram their subconscious, they reconnect with the man that they were supposed to be, that they know they could be, that they've had flashes of who they could be. The 8th lesson is discipline is spiritual. Let me say that again. Discipline is spiritual. People think spirituality is meditation and incense sticks, but the most spiritual thing a man can do is keep a fucking promise to himself. That's what the sauna represents. A daily or weekly or twice weekly voluntary test of integrity when no one's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody cares if you leave early, because nobody cares about your success in life, but you do. That's the most important thing. You do, the people around you do. That's how you build self-respect in private, through repetition, through struggle, through doing it even though no one's making you do it. When you can hold yourself accountable in silence, sweaty room, you can hold yourself accountable anywhere. With discipline is prayer in motion, and stillness is worship in action. The higher power will come to you. You'll have amazing ideas. That's alignment. That's masculinity done right. The 9th lesson is every breath is a rebirth. When the heat gets unbearable, all you can focus on is your breath. Slow in, slow out. I even put mouth tape on the other day, so I had to breathe through my nose. Every inhale becomes a reset. Every exhale becomes a release and a test of your will. And it's a discipline. It's a muscle that you can grow the more you use it. That's how you survive in the fire, one breath at a time. And that's how you can survive in life too. Not by worrying about 10 years from now, not by drowning in what ifs or maybes or self-doubt, but by mastering the breath in this moment, in this decision, and then in the next moment, then the next moment, not in the future 10 steps ahead. That's how aligned men move. That's what has happened when you stop trying to control everything. You control your responses, you control your energy, and most importantly, you control your presence. Because the more you can control your breath, the less the world controls you. Have you ever been there when you're overwhelmed and you start breathing like that and you're overwhelmed, or you might have seen your kids or people close to you have panic attacks? That's not peace. You got to learn to breathe into it, which leads me on to the final lesson. You can't fake the heat. In the sauna, every man is equal. It doesn't matter about your background, your income, anything, because you can't buy your way out of it. You can't talk your way through it. You can't flex your net worth or your job title in the heat, because the fire doesn't care about your bank account, your status, your Instagram followers, your finance Range Rover, what Rolex or Richard Mille you got on your wrist. It only respects discipline. And that's why I love it, because the same rules apply to life. You can't fake being in alignment. You can't fake being happy with your life. You can't pretend to be unfuckwithable. You can try to, but you get found out real quick. You either are or you aren't. And the heat always reveals the truth. That's why I tell my clients, stop hiding behind appearances. Stop performing for strength. Start building it. Because when you've actually built your identity through the fire, no one can take it from you. Let me just say that again, because it hits so hard. When you built your identity in and through the fire, nobody can take it from you. So why not step into the fire right now? Here's the challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, don't scroll. Don't just rush into your day mindlessly. Find some silence, find some heat, find some stillness. Meditate, journal, write down what's been holding me back in life that I know I need to do or shouldn't be doing, and I'm going to do it. So sit in it, don't move, don't try and escape, don't pull out your phone and scroll, just breathe. Because when the man who can stay still when it burns, because when a man can stay still when it burns, it becomes unstoppable. And it's a beautiful thing to see. That's what alignment is. That's what my alignment blueprint is built to teach, and it's free. The link's in the description. Just download it and see how you get on. Mindset, movement, money. 3 flames that you can learn to control until they burn for you, not against you. Let me say that again. For you, not against you. When you master that, you stop chasing validation. You start radiating power. You become the calm in the chaos, the leader in the rooms full of noise, the man who can't be shaken. Let me say that again, the man who can't be shaken. Don't you want to feel unfuckwithable? Because this is exactly how you become unfuckwithable. I've seen it over and over again with the men I work with. So if this hit home, don't just scroll past it. Click the link in the description to download the alignment blueprint. Drop a comment on the video and I'll send you the link directly. It's your free step-by-step guide to realigning your life, building the discipline and the version of yourself that earns respect from yourself and from the rest of the world. And if you're ready to go deeper, book your Power Hour breakthrough call. We'll find your leaks. We'll find what's holding you back, we'll rebuild your systems, and we'll make sure that your life and your legacy is built to last through any heat, because the fire's coming whether you're ready or not. I promise you that. So you better learn to be able to thrive on it when it comes, because life gets hard for all of us, as you know. I'll see you in the next video. Let's